Mm-hmm. Good morning. Today is Sunday. And Sunday is Dance Church Day in our community. And so we're in the mountains right now. But we're going to drive down the mountain to the coast and to Uvita for Dance Church, which I'm super grateful for, a community where we can be able to express ourselves through dance, through community, through nourishment. We always have an organic meal after, swims in the river after. So I'm super grateful to have community where we can come together and authentically express ourselves, connect with each other, connect with ourselves, connect with nature, nourishment. And that is our church. That's our church. Expression and connection. Super grateful. I've now been living here since November. I came here to visit last year in March and lived in this community for a month. And now I just go to this community for the events, and it's so powerful and beautiful. I mean, November, so December, January, February, March, April. It's been 5 months of living and attending dance church, and I've only missed like 3 dance churches while being here, and 2 of them were in a row 2 weeks ago, and so now I'm just feeling like, now that I'm back in it and back in the community again, it just feels so good to be able to remember that we have this space to express ourselves and to connect with each other and connect to nature and connect to ourselves in a beautiful, powerful way, and to have access to nature. This time last year started Earth Church on my land in the North America. Right now I'm in Central America, but in North America I started something called Earth Church, where I was hoping people would come together on my farm, and we'd like do a farm tour, we'd do a farm activity together, and then we would all share a meal together, and that would be Earth Church. And I did get some people every so often, but it never picked up the way I wanted it to, and it's super interesting because I think now through my experience here in Central America, it's like the community here is just so much easier to gather. We're all gathering, like that's like a common theme for us here, is like we want to gather, we want to show up for ourselves, we want to show up for others, we want to show up for nature. Versus in North America, it almost felt like I was like pulling teeth, like I was really struggling to get people to gather and come to Earth Church, to come to my equinox gatherings, my solstice gatherings, come to my full moon fires, come to my new moon women's gatherings. But here it's just a way of life in Central America, or at least this part of Costa Rica where I'm living. The community is just so alive and ready for connection to themselves, to each other, to nature. Connection to earth, connection to self, connection to each other. So I'm feeling super grateful for that, as my time in Costa Rica is coming to a close for this season. I'm going to go back home after I plant trees here. I'm going to go back home to the north, and I'm going to plant trees there on my land and help a friend on an island grow some organic vegetables for an island. I'm just feeling super grateful that I got to experience a community that, like 5 years ago, I was living in a community in Australia, and it just made sense to me. 5 years ago, this time was April 2020 when COVID happened, and I was living in a community of people who were growing organic food, doing yoga, practicing sound healings for each other, practicing massage for each other, and just like really showing up for the earth, for each other, for themselves. And especially during lockdown, when the whole world was shutting down and stopping, we were continuing, we were still doing everything we were doing. And that was a reminder to me of like, this is what we need more of in the world. We need more safe places of land where people can come together, grow food, and show up for themselves and show up for each other. And so I wound up moving back home in November 2020 and like trying to start pioneering on my family farm to create this safe space and safe shelter. And I worked really hard for 4 years. I worked hard for 4 years to make a community and to gather people together, and I did it. And my last gathering was Halloween, October 31st, and I had a good show up of people coming to show up for me and for the land and for each other. But it took me 4 years. It took me 4 years of really, really trying to get community to rally together and gather and share food and share fire and song and dance. So yeah, I'm just feeling super humbled and grateful that in the dormant season in the north, I can come to Central America and have a community that's so alive that reminds me what I'm fighting for. It reminds me what I'm working towards in North America, because it just is so easy. Like, it's a way of life here in the Southwest Pacific of Costa Rica. Like, community is so apparent. It's just so easy to come together and connect, and this is the reminder and the fuel I need to go back to the north and keep going, keep doing it. And so this is a reminder for anyone who is longing for any of that. Like, it exists, it's there. We're creating this new earth together, and because one person rises, another person gets to rise. So thank you for rising. So now I can rise too. You know, it's like we're all rising together, and when one person sees another person rising, we all have permission, and we all have the allowance, and we all have the awareness of rising together. So that was my little morning message today before dance church. I'm going to go back to the coast. I've been in the mountains for this past week. I'm going to go back to the coast for the next week. And start closing my chapter here. I'm going to be moving out of my house unexpectedly this month. So I've got a lot to do this week, but really remembering that life is rearranging itself around me, and I know my path, and I know who I am, and that's the most important thing. Like, I know who I am, I love who I am and what I'm doing, and everything else will mold around me. So I hope that this inspires you today. And yeah, sending some love and blessings. And if you don't have a dance church community near you, I hope you take the time to dance today.